All right, so welcome along. What I want to share with you now, just really an overview of looking at the past 12 months and some of the things that I think have had the biggest impact in our results within the business. And then for me personally, within sort of my own journey and own growth as well. Now, the good news is that it's not going to be a kind of 20-minute presentation about my life story or anything like that. I'm sure you have little to no interest in that. What I do want to share is specifically how over the past 12 months, I would say, the journey and the learning has had a really big impact, both for me personally and then within regards to business, and how I can ultimately to be able to share that with you so that you may take away from some of our gifts from this year. And I'm going to use the GIFT acronym, which is hopefully pretty telling for the time of year that this is going live. And really just want to share with you 4 specific things that I think have been a true gift for us this year. I would mention as well, just before diving in, that putting a emphasis on the gratitude side and the attitude of gratitude. That seems to be attributed to Tony Robbins, having an attitude of gratitude. I'm sure it comes from somebody before him. But increasingly, you can't be angry, you can't be frustrated, you can't be upset when you are grateful for things. It's almost impossible. It is impossible. If you're truly grateful for something, then you can't be angry or upset or frustrated. And so always looking at what are the best ways that we can continue to be grateful for what we have, whether it's been a quote unquote successful year or quote unquote unsuccessful year. Good things and bad things happen, or events happen which we have the perception of good or bad. And therefore, really what I want to share with you is just 4 of the main things that have stood out for me personally over this past year, and hopefully will be of value to kind of as some form of navigation or guide, should that be the case, of what has had a big impact for me this year. In a business sense, it's certainly been our most successful year from a financial perspective. There's been other areas where there have been great results as well, and actually one of those is this is a letter in the GIFT acronym, so I won't reveal too much more other than to say it has been in many ways a very good year, and therefore I'm pleased to be able to share this with you as well, on the back of not just hypothesis but on the back of good results. And so G, first of all, what does G stand for? Let's get into it. Well, G stands for goals. Yes, that might sound quite obvious. That might sound almost a little bit facetious, but having goals matters. Period. Full stop. End of conversation. Having goals matters. If you have goals, if you have something that you are working towards, it matters. It is important. And not just having goals that you work towards, not just having an idea of what your goals may be, not just kind of hypothesizing about it could be this, it could be that, but having clear, crystal clear goals which are measurable, tangible. They can be tracked and you can see progress towards them. This seems particularly relevant as, yesterday evening, I went out for a meal, end of year, kind of celebrating Christmas and such with some friends. And we've done this 4 or 5 times now, 4 or 5 years running. And we always share our goals for the year. And then we, at the start of the year, we share our goals for the coming year. And then we kind of share an evaluation of how effectively or how well we've hit those goals. The great illustration was that 2 of the people who were there couldn't even find their goals. So did they hit them? Well, they've got no idea. No idea whether they hit them or not because they couldn't even find them. So how do you know if you've hit your goals if you don't know what the goals are? Simple as that. You don't know whether it's been successful or unsuccessful, which in one way is great because then there's no reason to be upset, frustrated, or anxious or any of those things. If you've got no goals, then there's nothing to get frustrated or upset about. But equally, which direction you're pointing in and where specifically are you going and where are you trying to get to. Without goals, without that clarity, we don't have it. And so for me personally, the times when I've been most productive is when I have written my goals daily in a journal, in a log, whether that has been on the iPad, which I'm writing on now, whether that's been on paper, which I've got next to me, but writing those goals daily, and specifically with as I mentioned before, an aspirational goal, which can be measured, it's time specific, there is a clear way that it can be tracked and the success towards that can be tracked. And it's inspirational, it's inspiring. The way that I would usually do that is based on the year. So these are my goals for the year. This is what I want to achieve for the year. Occasionally I'll drop in a bigger goal, which might be a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal. Sometimes I'll drop in a shorter term goal if it's something that's important for me in that way. But goals has been a really big factor. And again, if you're not tracking it, then how do you know if you're on track? How do you know if you're achieving it as well? The other thing I would add to that, I hadn't really planned on putting this in, but I will do now, is habits. This is something that I personally want to track more, and I need to track more. There are some great habits which I do. There's some things which I've done consistently every day for maybe a year or 2 years. There's some things which I dip in and out of for 10 days, 15 days, and then I stop for a bit, and then I go in again, then I stop for a bit. And the only way to ensure that those things continue is by tracking them. That's it. And so tracking of not just goals, but habits as well will have a really big impact on results going forward. If in doubt, write them down at the start of each day. That's it. That is literally it, because that will guide and navigate how you are working towards your bigger vision and longer term goals as well. Influence. And this specifically relates to the podcast. Not because I think I've done a particularly good job on the podcast this year. We've done all right. But because of the guests that we've had on there and the connections, that has been the fundamental thing. And having the podcast, there was a period where we stopped it and I wasn't loving it. And I didn't really see or get great value from doing it. And so I really wasn't sure whether it was worth continuing. And it was only from a conversation with a mentor who said, well, look at all the benefits of having that podcast. What does it allow you to do? And since then, we really, put a bit more time and energy and thought and focus into who are the people that are going to come onto the show and how can they add value, not just to the audience, but to me as well. How can I ensure that it's valuable for me? So I'm not just the transmitter between the guest and our audience on the show, but also how do we ensure that this is a really, really it's something that I wanted to come back to, because if I don't want to do it, then it won't happen. And then, it's unfortunately, it's going to drop by the wayside. And so some of the guests that we've had on there this year have been incredible. Particular mention to somebody called John Ainsworth, whose podcast, and we can link to it around here or on the screen, or for those of you in the listening to it, then we can put a link in the show notes. But his advice in that one podcast, which started off with an interview and ended up being more of a coaching call, has literally contributed to probably increasing our sales by, 20%, 30% on the front end, maybe more. Absolutely mind-blowing. And the major thing that he focuses around, I would recommend going and checking that out, episode with John Ainsworth from Data Driven Marketing, to the point, and I should emphasize, to the point where we are now working with them. I don't get any kickback or anything from mentioning them or promoting them. We are now working with them, certainly at an initial stage, for them to take a look at what we're doing and how we can improve our business. And it'd be nice to have a second set of eyes on that to see what we're doing and how it can be improved. But they specifically look at, how do you increase your, and they look at a number of things, but one of the things that they supported us with, even on that podcast in the short 30 minutes, was just ways to increase the cart value when somebody buys from you. And the simplest ways that we can do that are by adding what's called a bump. Some of you will be familiar with that, some of you not. If not, don't worry. And then the other thing is by adding an immediate upsell. As soon as somebody purchases one thing, then why not offer them something else that they may want to buy? If somebody is in that buying mode, and we all get there, we all do it, especially around this time of year, when you're in buying mode, then you're likely to buy again and buy again. And if it's something that is valuable, if it's something that's useful, it's something that's going to solve that problem, then ultimately that's the thing. That's that. Why would you not give people the opportunity to purchase it? It's like going to the doctors with, a broken leg, okay, and the bone sticking out your leg, and the doctor says, oh yeah, I know exactly what you need to do for that. Come back next week. It doesn't make any sense. Of course that wouldn't happen. And it's an extreme example, yes, but why could that not be exactly the same in a business sense? If somebody has come with a specific problem or pain point that they want solving and you can help them, why not give them the opportunity to do that? And as I say, by adding the bump, by adding the upsell and a couple of other things, I'd say it's increased our front-end sales 30% approximately. I need to look at the exact numbers, but approximately 30%. Massive. F, friends. Now, friends does not necessarily mean the people that you go down the pub with, or a bar to, or out on a Saturday night. I'm not specifically talking about those friends. It's important to keep in touch with friends from all groups. And I remember one of my friends said, you have once a year friends, you have once a month friends, and then you have once a week friends. The people that you see once a year probably don't have they're probably people who you went to college with or university with, or maybe from old jobs. Then you got the monthly people who, more recent connections. And then you got the people you see weekly or speak to weekly who have similar shared goals and aspirations to you. Now, we are, and this has been quoted many a time now, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And so suddenly when we realize that, it allows you to reflect quite clearly on, well, actually, am I happy with the people that I'm spending the majority of my time with? And that doesn't mean, if you've got 3 children and a partner, you get rid of 2 of your children and your partner says, sorry guys, you've got to go. I need to up my game a little bit. It doesn't mean that at all. But certainly with friendship groups, connections, networks, how can you, take ownership over that and find and continue to nurture and grow and contribute to relationships and networks that are actually going to add value and feed you, rather than those that are going to take away. And so I'm delighted, say delighted, but I've made a conscious effort to move into and focus on and put time and energy and effort into building relationships, into new mastermind groups, into new networks, into speaking with coaches, into getting more coaching personally, and interacting with people who are on the same journey as me. Now, that's personal for me, but of course for you, depending on where you want to get to and how you want to up level and upskill yourself, what a great opportunity to be able to go and do that. And I think that I know that your friendship group and the people you spend the most time with have a massive, massive impact on that. And then T, last one, certainly not least, but last one is team. We had a real shuffle around in our team this year, Intergalactic. We had a few people who are no longer with us. We had a few people that we brought in, and a big part of that was not necessarily down to individuals. It was more down to the structure of the business. So it wasn't necessarily that people were doing a good or bad job. It was more the way that we started to structure our business was different. We went from if you wonder what that means, we went from moving people onto a telephone conversation or Zoom conversation and selling on the phone or selling on Zoom into a different model, which was basically selling on masterclasses and webinars where people would then go, to an order page and purchase a product and a program, and then come to an event, a 3-day workshop. And so immediately, because of that big engine model, naturally then meant that the people we had in certain places, it didn't translate across for them to fit into those same things because it wasn't aligned with their expertise. That's okay. But having the team that we built in place now, having the people that are there, very much aligned, I trust very much aligned with their strengths and what they're good at and where they can add the most value. And with that level of accountability as well, has brought in a massive, massive improvement in our results. And the telling thing is that that there's people in the right areas when it gives you the freedom to be able to then focus on continually higher leverage things, which is to the benefit of everybody. It's to the benefit of you, the business owner or the entrepreneur. So the more you become more adept and better adept at taking on ever greater challenges with increasing levels of complexity, which John Demartini talks about, ever increasing levels of challenge as your skill set gets greater. That's the first thing. But it also means that by continuing to do that and growing the team and therefore being able to build the business and increase the income and such, it means that you can create more stability for people in the team as well in terms of their roles. And one of our team members has been with us 3 years or so now. We've had somebody that's been with us for 6-7 months, and we've had a few more people that have been with us for about 3 months as well that we've recently joined the team. And I think we've got, I'm pretty confident we've got the right people in the right places to be able to help us grow the business, but also to be able to help support our clients in the best way and deliver in a way for them that means that we are going to continue to get great results with the people we work with, And equally importantly, I would suggest almost more importantly, is we continue to keep the people that we work with happy. And rather controversial, you might disagree. I've seen it in many different areas, but I personally, if I was given the option of, do we keep our clients happy? And do we have happy clients, or do we have clients that are successful? I would go happy every single day. And that does not mean, I want to be very, very clear, that does not mean that we compromise on how we get people results, or that we compromise on helping people achieve. However, we have had people in the past, we've worked with people in the past who have got results. We've worked with people in the past that have doubled their income, tripled their income, and they still weren't happy. Which it just shows that it's nothing to do with us, it's totally to do with their perception of what is good or bad and what makes them happy or unhappy. We've equally had clients that have come through, they've worked with us the whole time, and for various different reasons, the results haven't come in the same way. But they have had an amazing experience, and they've recommended us and referred us to other people because they have truly felt that they've been valued, got value from working with the team and enjoyed working with the team. And again, that doesn't give us an excuse to not help clients get results. I think it's very, very important. But equally, I think that customer happiness comes just above customer success. Because as I say before, we've had happy clients that haven't necessarily always got results, but they've recommended us, they've referred us, we've had a great relationship, and they continue to come back and they're satisfied with the support that we provide. But equally, we've had people that have come in, they've done the steps, they've followed the things, they've implemented, they've had great results, and they still haven't been happy. And that's when you realize that actually we've fulfilled our side, but there's certain things that ultimately that may be missing on their side that they need to bring, or maybe there's a bigger reason that's not been uncovered for them as well. And again, that's not to apportion blame in any way. I just want to be totally clear about that. It's simply a case of understanding people's values and ensuring that we deliver on our side continuously. And I'm confident now that we've got the people in place and the team in place that enable us to do that for our clients. Yes, to keep them happy, but also to get them results as well. And that is fundamental if we're going to continue to grow and scale and continue to ensure that we attract more of the right people to work with us, not just in the team, but clients as well. At the end of the day, we wouldn't be here without the clients. And that's it. So they are the most important thing. And same in your own business. If you're a new business owner, entrepreneur, if you're already existing in business, with the clients are the people that are paying your money. The people that you work with, your clients are the people that actually pay the bills. They feed you and your family. Like that's where you put your focus. That's where you put your attention, is looking after them 100%. And it's a big part of what we do. It's a bigger part of what we're going to be doing next year. We've already got some big plans around that, and I'm excited around that. And so it's something that I think is truly valuable for any business to be successful ongoing. So that's it. Those are the 4 things. They have been our gift this year. I truly hope that they can be a gift for you, even if you take just one of those things away, that has an impact on your results and growth and ongoing success, whether you're just getting started, whether you're established already. If you're using Instagram, if you're not using Instagram, that's okay. At the end of the day, I just want to help as many people as possible have success and to be able to get results in their business and personally as well. So number 1, goals, setting goals. Number 2 is our podcast influence, but mainly because of the guests and connections that we've been able to generate from that. 3 is the friendship group, and identifying people that are going to lift you up and bring you up rather than pull you down. The crab in the bucket kind of analogy. And then T is the team, having the right team around you to free up your time to go and tackle ever greater challenges and ever greater tasks that are going to continue to challenge and stimulate you. And also having a team in place that are aligned with what's important to them, what they enjoy doing, and that they are serving your clients as well. Hopefully that's been useful. This is my gift to you as best as I can. Of course, if you've got any thoughts, any feedback, any suggestions, any ideas, then I would love to hear from those as well. Thank you all. Look after yourselves. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.